Thanks for coming. Those that are in the room with Ross, Buck, and I, there's probably 25 of us and another 10 or 12. A lot of note takers, AI note takers connecting online. So good morning, happy Saturday. This is the first Coffee and Contracts that we've ever done on a Saturday. And that's because my good friend Ross Buck, who I met years ago, I think it was an email, and then eventually followed up like today, where he was in Los Cabos talking to me about a new MLS. And I've been a member of the FlexMLS, Baja California Sur MLS for my whole real estate career. So nearly 20 years selling real estate personally. I've been a member of the local MLS, and it's been a great resource for all of us in this room. All of us are members of the local MLS, but there's always limitations, and there's no one size fits all. And in a lot of real estate markets, we do have multiple MLSs. And when Ross rolled out the Omni MLS, we quickly jumped on, and I think we've been members for the past 2 years. And in those 2 years, it was interesting, and I told Ian this, and Sergio, our sales and inside sales development director, told me several months back. He's like, you wouldn't believe it, but we got a sale from realtor.com. And I said, we don't do any advertising on realtor.com. And so he looked into it further and found out, because we're members of Omni MLS and our listings go on Omni MLS, they're effectively advertising and syndicating our over 300 active listings all the time. And realtor.com is one of the top 5 searched real estate websites in the world. So it's a great service to our clients. It's great for us as agents to give that added exposure to our listings and to sell our properties. And that one sale, I don't know, Sergio, if there's been other sales that we have.
Not for the moment, but we get it between 4 and 5 leads per week just from realtor.com.
Okay, so almost one lead every 2 days we're getting from that website. And so it's a result of you guys getting the listings, us syndicating on his platform, and as a result of getting it out onto realtor.com. So our guest today is Ross Buck, the founder and CEO of Omni MLS. Good morning, Ross.
Good morning, Nick.
Can you just tell everyone a little bit about your background so they can have a context of who we're talking to?
Sure. Let's see where to start. Third generation in the real estate industry, grandmother, uncle, and my dream was to be a Navy fighter pilot. On one side of my family, I have Navy pilots, my grandfather, my uncles. But with these eyes, it just didn't work out. And so I had to look in the family and say, hey, what else do we do? And real estate, my uncle and my grandmother work in San Diego. And so in 1989, I was in college and I started working at Transamerica Title Insurance Company. Back in those days, it was Transamerica. My uncle said, if you're going to get into real estate, you need to understand how properties transfer title. So you should start working in the title company. So my first job was actually called print puller, and I would go to the title examiners, get a list of all the documents they needed to see for their title search. I would go to the library of microfilm, pull out all the tapes, put it into the machine, and make copies of all these documents and get it back to the title searcher. So that's how I started. When I graduated from the university, I moved to San Diego, California, and started working at Coldwell Banker in Del Mar, and was there for a number of years. But my passion has always been technology. And so over a little bit of time, I started up a technology company focusing on helping real estate agents learn technology. This was in the early 90s. The internet was coming about, and people wanted to learn how to get onto the internet. And so that was kind of what I was doing. A company called First American Title heard about me and what I was doing. They approached me and said, hey, we'd like you to keep doing exactly what you're doing in San Diego, but do it for our customers. So I went on board with First American Title. I was with them for 11 years. I was assistant vice president with First American and in charge of technology in Southern California and Hawaii. After 11 years with them, which was an amazing time, I moved down to Rosarito Beach, Mexico, where I've lived ever since. It's been 19 years. And I've been president of the Real Estate Association there 3 times, AMPI it's called. And yeah, every day I just try to help people to have more transparent real estate transactions, have more data, more information. And you guys have had this amazing MLS here for 20 some years, which is spectacular. Up north, we'd never had any MLS. So being in San Diego, where we had all the technology in the world, we would cross the border into Tijuana and there was literally nothing. We had point 2 homes back in the day. We started using that, but there never has been an MLS. So through frustration, I started reaching out to the MLS vendors. Today, there's about 5 main vendors of MLS software in the United States. The largest one is a company called CoreLogic. It just so happens that CoreLogic is basically the child, the baby of First American Title, where I used to work. So First American had purchased a number of companies, technology companies, and they got to a point where they needed to decide, are we a title insurance company or a technology company? And so they packaged up all this technology and spun it off into a new company called CoreLogic. Today, CoreLogic is a multi-billion-dollar corporation that focuses on data. We had the pleasure of Nick coming with us to their data center in Dallas, Texas about a month ago. It was an amazing experience for myself, and I believe Nick enjoyed it as well. But this idea of an MLS, what we tried to do is create something better than what we have in the States. In the United States today, we have 550 MLSs. So if you work in Southern Florida, you're going to probably join 5 different MLSs and 5 different associations. And each one has a cost associated with it. So it's very expensive for agents. When I go to Miami and I'm talking to a group of agents like you all, they're like, Russ, I don't get it. Your MLS is in Cabo and in Mexico City and in Puebla and in Cancun and in Mazatlan, but you're also in Costa Rica and Colombia and Argentina, and I don't get it, because here in South Florida, we have 5 different MLSs, so what's different? And what's different is we learned from the mistakes maybe of what was done in the States. So this MLS was built specifically to be many things. Multilingual, number 1. It had to be a platform that could handle multiple languages. Today, we're very thankful to be live in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. It also had to have multiple currencies. We knew that foreign investors many times think in dollars. So we wanted to have dollars available on every listing everywhere throughout Latin America. So in every listing, it's in dollars, and it's also in local currency. So if you're in Colombia, it's Colombian pesos. If you're in Mexico, Mexican pesos. There's always the local currency and dollars. So you can run reports, get statistics, get CMAs in either currency. And again, so we have this database with all connecting all of Latin America. We're live today in 17 of the 21 countries of Latin America. On Wednesday, we just received approval. We'll be moving forward in the Caribbean market. So we'll be going live probably first in Dominican Republic. Again, connected into this one MLS. Mm-hmm. So when you have customers that are asking you about properties in Latin America, you all have access not just to properties here, but you could run statistics and look at what are the price differences for people buying in Cancun or Playa del Carmen or Tulum or some of these different markets to see how you compete with these different luxury markets. In addition to that, we wanted to connect back to all of our brothers and sisters, so to speak, in the United States. Coming from CoreLogic and then being the largest MLS, today they have 1.2 million agents on the platform. So one of my jobs is to go back and visit the different MLSs in the States and talk to them about what we're doing and what you all are doing, and most importantly, connecting you all with them. Today, we're glad that we've connected to over 13 MLSs. That equates to over 500,000 agents in the United States. Today, that's connected to your inventory here with Ronival. So I think it's a pretty amazing thing. It's never happened in the history of the world before. And the idea is connecting agents with agents. One of the tools that you all have access to with Omni MLS is called MLS Match. MLS Match, if you think of the MLS, that's the tool to search and find properties, right? Searching, finding, and sharing with your customers. MLS Match is the tool to help you find agents, professionals in other markets that have the characteristics of what your customer needs. Let's say you have a customer coming here, buying a property, and they're like, you know, Nick, I need to sell my house in San Diego or LA or whatever. All of a sudden the game changes. Now Nick can go into CRMLS, pull up the properties in the MLS live, like he's a real estate agent in California, see what's going on in their neighborhood, study and analyze what sales, what the prices are, and then you can speak intelligently as a professional agent. Hey, I know your neighborhood. Yeah, that area in Del Mar, properties are going for, on average, I don't know, $3.5 million. If we can get that property sold, now we can purchase that property down. There's all kinds of things you can do when you have this kind of information. But with MLS Match, you could do a search and find an agent to connect them with that agent there and have a new stream of revenue. Referral fees. So in California, they're called finder's fees, but the rest of the country, I think they're referral fees. But anyway, it's a new stream of revenue for you all to start thinking about. So we've been busy in the last 3 years, and every day we just continue to expand and grow. Our latest connection, Nick mentioned Realtor.com, which we're really happy about and glad that you made your first sale with that. We hope there's many more. There's another portal coming in to Mexico called Properstar, and we had many customers asking us, hey, I want to get my properties on Properstar. I have to pay a lot of money to put them on that system. So we put together an agreement with Properstar. So just like Realtor.com, in a few weeks, all of your inventory automatically will be in Properstar, automatically, no extra fees or anything. Properstar was born in Europe, and so a big part of their connections come from Europe, but also they're making inroads here in Mexico, Latin America, et cetera. So,
you know what I like about Omni MLS is the connections and the exposure. So in real estate, we're always trying to expand our network. You know, they say the bigger your network, the bigger your net worth. And that's so true. And that could be for referrals. That could be just to call up an agent in Los Angeles because your client is selling their property there, to understand a little bit more what they're going through. Because you have an offer with the contingency for them to buy here, but only after they sell that property back home, right? And that happens very, very often. Very, very often, but we're not aware of it as a real estate agent here in Los Cabos or Baja California Sur because we don't ask. But if we actually asked our clients, hey, do you need to sell a property back home, whether it's in Canada, anywhere in the US, and they say yes, and we just ask a simple follow-up question, do you have a real estate agent? And many times they don't. And so what if I put you in contact with a trusted real estate agent that sells real estate just like me and is as knowledgeable and skillful as me, and we can sell that property together so that you can buy your property here. And if you have that conversation, you could effectively increase your business by double. You could do double the transactions, potentially, right? I had someone that we're working with that sells out of Park City. And he is doing some work for us, a real estate agent. And he said, you know, I just listed this $14.5 million home in Park City. It's also very heavily second home real estate market for skiers. And he said, do you know where he bought a house? I said, where? And he said, at the Amman. But I got in contact with him after he got it under contract. And so imagine that, being able to sell a $14.5 million listing and probably sell him an equally priced house at the Amman. So effectively you did double business, right? Just by asking that question. Are you buying something else? Where? Being able to connect to other areas outside of your expertise is, I believe, the way of real estate because we're global. It's important to be hyper local and local experts. But how do you get that expertise in outside other areas? Ian and I belong to a mastermind of second home real estate professionals. So there's no way I know anything about Atlanta, Georgia, but there's second home sales there. They don't know anything about Cabo. If I connect with those kind of agents and we can do referral business, this is what Ross and Omni MLS is talking about when he's saying connecting you to over 500,000 licensed real estate agents in the United States. Where do the majority of your clients come from, Renee? The United States, right? So would it be great to have dozens, if not hundreds of real estate relationships with professionals that can send you those clients? That's just the tip of the iceberg of what we're talking about. Our local MLS, Baja California Sur, amazing. But we can't connect to other people like we can at Omni MLS. Okay? I'm curious because I did go last month to Dallas at CoreLogic, and there was a lot of new stuff underway. And Ross, I'd like to talk a little bit about that. So one thing off the top of my mind is lockboxes. Can you talk about lockboxes and what's the affiliation or partnership with that? How real estate agents can use it?
Sure. We have these things from a company called SentryLock. They're Bluetooth-enabled lockboxes that are basically indestructible. SentryLock was owned by the National Association of Realtors, so it is the most widely used lockbox system in the United States. The concept of the lockbox is you have this box, you open it up, you attach it to the property, and the keys for the property then go in that lockbox. Now, you have many high-end properties here in Los Cabos, and many owners are like, hey, every time you show my property, obviously you have to be there to open it up and show the property. So people say, well, we don't need a lockbox. But that's not exactly correct. The lockbox helps you with many things. Number one, you always know where the key is located because it's in the lockbox. But number two, you can run reports. Every time that box is opened, you get notified as the listing agent immediately, exactly with the time, date, stamp of when that person opened it up and who opened up the lockbox. Now, when you're trying to work with your customers, they want information. If you've been telling them it's time for a price reduction, let's say, you can show them a report that says we've had 30 visitors in the last 30 days, and those 30 visitors have not made an offer. Something's wrong here, something's going on. And you have data, actual hard black and white numbers to show them the people that are visiting the property. The lockboxes are 100% customizable. All of you that are part of Omni MLS have an app on your phone to open up those lockboxes. You just walk up to it, press a button, put in your code, it sees your face, and it opens up the lockbox. It's truly amazing.
What does a lockbox cost, and what's the ongoing expense?
They're about $150 to buy. You'll have it for life. I think the battery life inside is 10 years, and when the batteries run out, you just open it up and pop in a new set of batteries. Ongoing costs, there is one administrative license you need to administer your lockboxes. So if the office has the admin, then you just need one account. Off the top of my head, maybe it's $100 a year, something like that.
So very affordable.
Definitely, definitely.
So what I was thinking inside Ronival, at least, because we can't necessarily trust all the outside agents, but we can trust our agents inside the company, is for certain listings, we have a Sentry lockbox on the property in a place where it's safe, it can't be removed, it can't be stolen, because these Sentry lockboxes are truly indestructible. And for us as the agent, we don't have to carry a ring of 20 keys because we manage 20 listings. And a property typically has more than just one key. You know, there's that pool area, the casita, other keys, it can hold multiple keys. And I like the fact that when we should be, as listing agents, giving monthly reports to our clients or weekly reports of what showings we have, what Ross is talking about, you can actually show the client what's happening and it's no extra work for you. And you know the agent that opened it up when they return the key. So data is extremely powerful. And as you guys know, we love to collect data. We love to report data because that's the information that you're going to be able to make educated decisions on, right? So that's the Lockboxes.
Yep.
What about this mobile app? This mobile app is, and unfortunately we don't have a screen where we can show you what he showed me visually, but hopefully you can.
For Century Lock?
Yes. Oh, no, not Century Lock. Not Century Lock. This is a mobile app.
Oh, I've got the mobile app for the Century Lock.
Okay. Yeah, it's amazing. It's really, and I think at least internally, we should try to use it, right? Also for property management, right? Vacation rentals, Barbie, right? And because what you do is you try to get the owners to put a lock pad, right? But then they're like, oh no, those are ugly, it doesn't fit, it doesn't look good. And instead, if you had a Century lockbox and it was a code that you can send to the renter, is that possible?
Yes, for sure. It's called a one-day code. You just
Okay,
send it to them.
one-day code, boom, there's a key.
Shows up on their phone.
We have this lock system. So every time that we have a new guest, we have like a different code. So we give them the code to enter the property. But what really is important is because we have like the manual key. So after getting the guest leaves, we always operations close the property with the manual key. So it will be very useful to have that key in that specific place. So for security reasons, even though we have like the electronic keypad, then after the guest leaves, we have this other key that will be better to have it in that.
Barbie's in charge of our concierge department
Awesome.
and vacation rentals.
Awesome.
So that's
Great.
Who pays the fee? Like the agent or the listing?
Oh, yeah, so for us as a company, the idea is that us as a company get the lockboxes. So we have a set inventory, but then 8 individual agents can also get additional lockboxes. So we haven't worked out the SOP, the operating procedures on that. But what I wanted to do, did you bring any?
We shipped 25 to you. And
Okay,
they're
awesome.
supposed to arrive yesterday or today.
Okay, so
DHL.
since we're already members, and as soon as they arrive, we'll be contacting a select few of agents so we can start testing it as a pilot.
Do our boxes that we already own, can they be transferred to?
Are they with Century Lock? Yes? Possibly. There's a serial number on every box,
Right.
and we would need that. If you can get me a list of the boxes that you want to transfer over.
Just like if we're changing associations.
Kinda like-
it's-
exactly.
It's the same process.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Glad that you already use them. So you guys are already experts. It's easy, huh?
Dallas, San Diego. So they're on our team, but
Awesome.
they're like a new type of agent that we're finding, which
Okay.
is they might live here part-time, full-time, or they don't live at all. So I don't know if you see Bob, the guy in the center screen with that baseball cap.
Yeah.
He's the team lead for Lisa,
Okay.
and he bops between San Diego and here.
Nice.
And
Excellent.
so really interesting. So the mobile app.
Mobile app. So do you guys enter in listings into the MLS here?
Yeah.
Or it gets done by the office? One
Both.
person does it?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
And
so it's a
who does that? Any of you actually physically enter in listings?
Yeah.
What's the normal time it takes on a normal day to enter a listing, putting in all the details, write the listing description, get the photos uploaded, videos? Okay. So with artificial intelligence, the world is changing. And CoreLogic, being that they're a billion-dollar corporation, they're investing literally millions of dollars into artificial intelligence. So how do they incorporate artificial intelligence into something like taking a listing? Well, what's coming is an app on your phone called MLS Touch. You guys might have MLS Touch already in Dallas, I'm not sure. Okay, it's the app that is married to the MLS. So everything you can do in the MLS, now you have an actual app. You can do searches, find properties, share them with customers in WhatsApp or however you want to format, email, whatever. But beyond all the normal things you'd think you'd see on an app is some artificial intelligence that's coming. So literally, if this was your new listing, you would enter the property at the front door, start the app, and walk the property with your phone, just literally walking the property, going into every room, every bedroom, every bathroom, And when you finish, it's going to analyze what you just scanned. It's going to automatically create architectural floor plans. It's going to automatically create what's called a dollhouse, which is the virtual 3D tour of the property. It's going to automatically know that this property is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, the size of the property according to the walk that you just did with very accurate data. It's going to fill in your whole listing description, all your information for the listing for you automatically. So it even writes the listing description. And hopefully we're working with them to get it in multiple languages, so it automatically puts it in Spanish and Portuguese, etc. So something that may have taken 10, 15, 20 minutes is going to be narrowed down to 5 minutes. It's really amazing. It's really impressive. You guys are going to love it, those that do listing input.
So all of our listings get the Matterport, right? And the Matterport scans can take anywhere from 2 hours to 6 hours, depending on the size of the house and the complexity and the layout. So us as agents, I just did it with Renee and Jean. This week, we previewed a house. We walked through, recorded with our phone, and we could have just there the floor plan and all the measurements, listing description in a matter of 15, 20 minutes, and the listing's done. And one of the things that was really an eye-opener for me was the AI integration with the listing description, because one of my pet peeves is how many listings in our 4,200 active listings in our MLS right now have 1-sentence description. It's horrible, really? Horrible. And when we feature those listings on our website, and we have property e-alerts that we send it out to our clients, they think it's our listing. And they're like, Cindy, that listing description sucks, right? And the photos, the caption under the photos, it has no description. I don't know what I'm looking at. That's something that automatically is done with this MLS Connect,
MLS Touch.
And something that CoreLogic told us is with all the MLSs, the data and the statistics show over 95% of all the listings in the MLS in the US don't have listing photo captions. Yet, the data shows that listings that do have the captions have 60% more engagement. Makes sense, right? I'm going to spend more time looking at the listings that have both a visually aesthetic look and are attractive, but are accompanied with a written description. But that's a pain in the butt, right? Some of us don't have the time. Some of us don't know how to write. Renee? No, just kidding, just kidding. You're just right here. So we let AI do that for us, right? Or we're not native English speaking, right, Miriam?
And remember the SEO.
Yeah, and it's SEO optimized.
Yeah.
It's SEO optimized. That's incredible. So Christian, what could you do in your business? How much better of a product could you put out to the marketplace for your listings where the technology takes care of all that for you? That's amazing, right? You don't have to think. So for how long would it take you, Renee, to write and do a listing in Spanish?
4 hours. Google.
Yeah. It would take longer. It would take longer than in English, right? So for us that are native English speaking or native Spanish speaking, the technology, no matter which way you slice it or dice it, it does it both ways. So
Yeah, for
pretty
sure.
incredible.
You know, opening up your market, obviously Cabo is well known worldwide. But now with Omni MLS, your properties are actually being seen by real estate professionals in other markets. I often visit countries like Colombia. In Colombia, there's a lot of money. There's a lot of money in these countries that may have economic situations where they're looking to move money out for investment purposes and park it somewhere else. Now you all have the opportunity to reach out and contact and talk to these agents, study those countries where this is going on, and start introducing them to Cabo and say, hey, if you've got customers that have money that are looking at investing it, parking that money somewhere to protect it, well, Cabo is right here. and you guys have an amazing, beautiful, beautiful area to promote.
Because you travel throughout Latin America and you're interacting with real estate professionals, can you just share with everyone what the impression of Los Cabos of the Baja is from a real estate perspective?
I mean, you guys have the jewel of Mexico for sure. I mean, no doubt about it. I was in Cancun right before this, earlier in the week, and you know, they have the heat, but they also have the humidity. And here, this weather, you can't beat this weather.
Right.
It's unbelievable, spectacular. So, yeah, you
Real
have an
estate
amazing.
prices? Real estate prices?
I don't know the prices that well, so
Yeah.
I would say I'm not the expert or the one to be looking at the prices. Technology we can talk about, but I'm not sure about prices.
Okay.
So,
Tell us about what is the trend that you see for being American. Are you Mexican also? You're Mexican also, right?
no, just
You're not? Oh,
I'm
geez.
American.
Wow. But the trends for Americans coming to Mexico or anywhere else in Latin America?
You know, with that tool, I mentioned MLS Match. That tool is the tool that's going to start giving you data, actual statistics about where people are referring their customers. So it's people buying properties, coming from one market, buying in another market. Because in that software, you have to identify where your customer resides and where they're obviously looking to purchase. So as that tool begins to be used more in California, Florida, and all these other states, we'll start to have actual data to see where these people are migrating to. We do see a lot of people from the COVID time that they're digital nomads. They want to be able to be free and live wherever they want. I know personally workers in different countries that we're associated with that they work and they don't tell their bosses that they're somewhere else.
Right.
So there's people that just want to get out of wherever they were living and live somewhere else. So you guys have an amazing market here. You just need to share it more. We're just now connecting with Brazil, like literally right this week. We've got 2 properties live, but the potential in Brazil is astronomical. It's the second largest group of real estate professionals licensed outside of the United States. Today, they have 630,000 licensed agents in the country of Brazil.
That's crazy.
And I don't know if Brazil knows about Cabo.
Probably not.
So in Cancun, I was in the hotel and walking around, there's a lot of people speaking Portuguese. And you hear it as you're passing by people. So why not start tapping into this enormous country, Brazil, with this new connection you have and start introducing Cabo to Brazilians?
Is this MLS Match that feature that the one lady on the end of the
Janet?
day was talking about?
Yes, correct.
So MLS Match is an add-on service to an Omni MLS membership that you don't pay extra for?
No.
Yeah, this is crazy. So it's a referral network, and primarily it's just U.S. and Europe, right? Or is
Right
it
now,
European?
it's in Latin America with us and
Yeah.
in US and expanding.
How many years? It's been several years that they've been operating, correct?
It comes from the real estate franchise companies in the United States. They worked with this company called Immobel, so they help a lot of the like anywhere companies with their referral. So it's that
Relocation.
platform that expanded and grew beyond franchises.
The lady, was she the founder?
Yes.
Yeah, so what she was sharing is she can say, she tracks the U.S. migration within the U.S. based on the referrals, and there's billions of dollars every year that's transacted in her system, just referrals. So being able to add the Baja real estate to that, to real estate agents in the U.S. is incredible, incredible. And you don't pay anything for it. You just pay a very nominal membership fee with Omni.
And I can tell you something, Janet was at another event that I was at recently, and she, again, tracking all this data. What happens with referrals, referrals are sent, and if nobody is on the receiving end, it just
Dies.
is wasted and dies. And she had numbers of something, I don't know, $10 million worth of commissions were lost in the last month from people that just didn't open up their system and log in to see that they had a referral waiting for them. So,
Is it live right now?
Yeah, for sure.
So Sergio, make sure we get on that before Ian rejoins and starts grabbing it. Because Ian was just telling me this week, he got over $1 million referral from a network we belong to. And it's a lot of work to put into it. But imagine if there's technology that's already set up and you're connected and inquiries are going out there and you just raise your hand. I'm in, I'm in, I'm in. And now having the Baja connected, man, I'll just be living on that website.
With
or
this
that
technology,
connection.
if I were in your guys' shoes and I was selling real estate, I would be downloading the databases of the agents in the States. I would be reaching out to them, introducing yourselves, your market, the food, the flavors, everything that they love about Cabo. I would be promoting it every week, sending out newsletters, doing everything I could to let them know that, hey, I pay referral fees. Send me your buyers, your renters, your sellers, anybody. Send me referrals. We pay referral fees. I would be, that should be a whole nother
Yeah, that's
effort of what
another,
you guys
like,
are gonna
imagine
do.
downloading 500,000 licensed, Eric, 500,000 licensed real estate agents in feeder markets to Cabo, all Baja Sur. What can you do with that? That's amazing, amazing.
And growing. We have Bright MLS, which is Metropolitan Washington, D.C. coming on board. They have about 100,000 agents in that MLS. They're the second largest in the United States. And Austin, Texas also is coming on board. They're about 20,000. So
A lot of Austin clients, a lot of Austin clients. We have connected Bob Cadez in San Diego that has his hand up in the air. Bob?
Hey, Russ, how are you?
great. How are you, Bob?
Good. I think we already touched on this. Would our Century key out here in San Diego work in Cabo?
The Sentry key needs to be, it's the same system. You just need to get it set up for Omni MLS in Latin America. But it's the same technology, and I can work with you to talk to SentryLock to get it set up so your key could potentially work both in San Diego and here.
Okay. And then does Omni have a phone app, or is it the MLS Touch we use?
MLS Touch is the name of the phone app. It's the most widely used MLS application in the United States with 1.1 million users on it today. So that's going live in Latin America. On Monday, I'll find out. Monday or Tuesday, I'll know, and I'll let Nick know. It's already in English, obviously in the States. So we're hoping to get it released in the next couple of weeks here in Latin America in English to start, and then within 3 months in Spanish and Portuguese.
Okay, perfect. So that's what Omni is using for a phone app?
That's correct, MLS Touch.
Okay.
Are you using that, Bob, in San Diego?
Well, we have two. We have Sandy Core, and then we have Century. Century is CRMLS, right, Russ?
Yeah, SentryLock is CRMLS. Where was CRMLS? 120,000.
Sandy Core has their own. It gets confused. You gotta have 3 or 4 keys out here to sell real estate.
Wow. Okay. Anyone have questions out there?
Oh.
Ian? Oh, ladies first. Go ahead, Lisa.
Okay. So with the Century app, it's still the monthly fee to have the little maybe.
There is a monthly fee, but it's only, let me think this through. I want to say it's around $5 a month, something like
It's a
that.
lot cheaper. We were paying, I was paying
We
15
pay
a month.
17.
Yeah.
A month.
Everything you'll find with our tools, it's the same tools that you have in the United States, but the pricing is for Latin America. So like our MLS is in a range of, I don't know, $17, something like that, $20. In the States, you're probably looking at $48, $50 a month. So definitely we have to price things accordingly. We work in all countries of Latin America, so countries that have economic challenges, we wanted to come up with a price that works everywhere. So.
And can we get current pricing to join Omni?
Yeah, it's on our website. It just depends if you're part of like the real estate associations and things like that, but it's around $20 a month.
With the
Super nominal.
association, like, I guess we need to know the whole process.
Yeah. Get with Sergio. We did it for the company, and if he doesn't have the answers, he'll talk to Ross.
Yeah.
Okay.
You had a question? Ian, yeah, first of all, thanks for having me in the meeting. It's nice to be here and hear a little bit about what's going on. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Ian. I have a different firm in town, but Nick and I belong, as you said, to a membership. We collaborate a lot. We share a vision of what's happening in this market and the direction that's going, and share a principle that if we raise ourselves above everybody else, we will be here long term. And on that note, my question, Ross, is our group are pretty early adopters, and there are some reasons why we jumped on board with Omni MLS. You've touched a few of them already. There's some reasons why we fell off. We'll have that conversation offline, but specifically regarding the referral network and how it's set up, and being that it's very tech-driven and data-driven. My recollection is that with the referrals going into the different markets, once you log that in the system, it's then tracked and it automatically pays you your referral fee. Is that accurate, or is that not accurate?
That's not accurate. The software itself, the network, doesn't handle the payment of the referral fee. But what I like about the system, because agents always ask me, so Ross, if Nick doesn't pay the referral fee to me, then Ross, you're responsible, or Omni's going to pay it? No. But the way it works is kind of like an Amazon rating system. So if I send my referral to Nick, and Nick gets that referral and he does an amazing job and he pays the referral fee, I'm going to rate him 5-star. I'm going to put great comments. But if I send it to another agent and they are the opposite and they don't pay the referral fee or whatever, I'm going to rate them 0 or 1 star with horrible comments. No one's going to work with an agent that's getting 1-star rating. So it kind of solves itself. I think payments are normally done just through normal wire transfers.
Yeah, I wasn't specifically referring to who pays, because clearly that's not on the MLS's responsibility. It's more about tracking the lead. If there are other people, as we know, buyers are fickle. They'll work with a number of different people. It's hard enough to control them in this market, let alone if you're going to Austin or Dallas or San Francisco or whatnot. They're in the system as your referral, or is, and then, you know, when you're looking at outgoing referrals in different markets within our guidelines and needing buyer representation agreements in place, and sometimes the sellers in Santa Barbara won't pay a commission because they're not allowed to advertise that commission on their MLS. How do you get around the changing laws and protecting our client relationship with our buyers?
I think something that's different about this type of referral network is, if I'm Nick's agent here in Los Cabos and I've worked with him for 20 years, he trusts me. And so when it comes time for him to buy that property in Dallas, let's say, I'm doing the work to find another trusted agent in that market for Nick. So there's a better chance that my customer is going to work with that agent in Dallas and stick with them because it came from me, the trusted agent. It's not just the customer going and looking and talking and changing every 2 days. So I think that that is a stronger connection that you'll find. The system does allow you to track everything as far as how many transactions, everything that you'd want to see. It's in the system.
Are you trying to minimize the buyer referral that gets to you, working with multiple agents? Is that?
I'm trying to come at it from the perspective of tracking, and once it's in there, we have the confidence of knowing that is going to be associated with us, right? I remember, and maybe I'm crazy, but I remember the first iteration of this, somebody telling me about that component of it, where once it's logged in on the MLS as an outgoing or outbound referral and placed with an agent in the market that you're speaking to, they track that. So we don't have to.
For sure.
That was.
What are some of the things that you're tracking, just to be clear? What would you like to see?
What they're looking at, whether they've entered into a transaction, because again, I'm not more of my policing things that are happening in Santa Barbara or Austin or wherever you're doing business. And you'd like to believe the relationship is strong as you put the time into developing it, but who knows what can happen down the road and things fall off the radar.
The agent that receives the referral gets prompted by the software. How's it going? It's asking for updates. So obviously it's up to the receiving agent to go into the software and say, yes, I showed them 5 properties, to give updates back to the agent that sent it to them.
And then when you transact through the Omni MLS system on a property, is that also updated in the system? So
it's not automatic. It's not automatic, but again, it's back to that receiving agent to put the information in that they did close a transaction, and then I'll be rating them. If they, time goes by and they're not updating the software, then flags start going off and you get notified, and you could reach out and talk to the agent, obviously.
And because it happened to us, like sometimes we send referrals to the agent and we get a referral fee.
Great.
And sometimes it takes too long, like to close a deal, and we are like, did you reach out? Did he pick up the phone? how's it going? So we want to have that feedback because we are like very excited that we said someone interested in buying, and we don't have that information of when are they going to buy, or if the agent didn't follow up. Is it possible that after a time that I send you a potential buyer, I don't see like any results or any updates? Can I change or saying, you know what, and now I want my potential client to work with another agent?
For sure. You've signed a digital contract with the party between the two agents, but there are, I believe, clauses that state if they're not performing, you have the right to cancel that agreement and move your customer to someone else.
That's always tricky because once you refer it to another, to the first agent, if they have developed a relationship, and that's the tricky part, right? And that's what I think Ian is talking about. When we get someone that wants an agent in another area and we refer them, it's too hard to keep tracking as the source of that client. And I mean, you can. So a percentage of that is handled by the technology. And this is agent-to-agent referral. You're talking about a vacation rental guest or a client for concierge. You refer it to one of our sales agents, right? That's what you're talking about more? Yeah. Yes. So someone in our property management side, you refer it. And so imagine inside the same company, it's hard to track.
Yeah.
And so, and it's discouraging because us as agents, we're sending agents to people not inside our company in a different location, and nothing. It's just like the abyss.
But if you use the tool internally, now you can start to track everything.
That's true.
And hold those agents accountable, the ones that you're sending the referral to, and make sure that they're
I
following
like the
up with the
automatic reminders,
Yeah.
like, hey, where's this client? So me as the source of the client doesn't have to monitor or send those communications. And then when it's closed out in the system, it ceases to communicate to the receiver of that referral. Right?
Yeah.
What other questions? Laurier.
So just to clarify, when you have this rating system, is it just the rating system for the referral, or is there an actual contract that you sign with the other agent, giving them confidence that you know they're going to get the client, and you confidence that you're going to get the referral, or vice versa?
There's definitely an online contract signed by both buyer agent and referring agent. So definitely.
Just internally for Ronival agents, we have an additional contract for fiscal reasons because of the taxes. So it gets tricky because when you send a referral commission to a U.S. agent, they can't give a factura to the seller for the tax write-off. We can, but if we receive their commission and we give it to them, we're paying their taxes, but we didn't get that income. So it's tricky. So we have a separate agreement to handle that situation.
Yeah, I noticed it just the other day. I was
Yes.
looking at it, so thank you.
Interesting.
What other questions do we have? Joy, you don't have any questions? Good to see you.
Can I chime in here real quick?
I was just
Oh,
wondering,
1 second. Bob, Joy, go ahead.
I'm just wondering, you know, what's to keep us from keeping in touch with the person we referred? I mean, like, you know, they're our clients to begin with, so why not call them up and say, hey, how are you doing with their new agent? Would that be considered unethical?
I would say this, Joy, at least from, I would say, speaking on Ross's behalf, from the technology perspective, they're not going to get involved in that. So if you're referring clients to other agents, if you make it very known to them and are communicating, hey, you know, I'm going to periodically check up on my client that I am referring to you, and they say, okay. So as long as they know, then they're not like thinking that you're screwing up the deal. But and for you, you want to know what's going on, and you want to keep the other agent honest, right?
Right. I just want to know that the client's okay.
Yeah, of course.
If they're not, I want to hear about it.
Yeah.
Bob.
Okay, and Ross, I think you could agree with it, probably Nick too. There's not a broker out there, I don't think, in NAR or CAR, once their signature's on the form, that's not going to pay that referral. I couldn't hear his whole conversation, but I thought it was about being worried about getting paid from other agents.
Yeah, it was somewhat just not knowing what's going on, right? So you send the referral and then it gets lost. And you as the source of the referral, you are sending maybe one a year, but some of us are sending dozens. It's too hard to administratively keep track of all of that. You know, we're busy not tracking referrals, we're busy tracking our buyers and sellers in our marketplace. So what Ross is saying is that, well, you heard what Ross said.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Any other questions out there? Questions?
How many of you are using the MLS of Omni today?
So
Couple?
you're a paying member.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you very much. Great. Well, if you have any more questions, please let me know. We're definitely in favor of MLSs. So the MLS that exists here and has been here for 20 years is amazing. I mean, it's spectacular, and we're very much in favor of it and support it, and it's wonderful. We're just different. We're just helping you to connect on a global basis. Obviously, MLSs and real estate is local, and you have that here. But we want to help you to expand. We want to help you to connect to these real estate professionals and their customers on a global basis.
I was telling Ross, and Eric, our marketing director, sent an email to, I think, to me, you Sergio, about we're building a Spanish-only speaking website for real estate sales so that we can lead generate, that we have a digital outlet for our only Spanish-speaking clients.
Awesome.
And so we can target the Mexican nationals in mainland Mexico. So the problem we found is with the FlexMLS, the IDX feed, is how do you translate all that data from English into Spanish? And so what I told Eric last night in an email is Omni MLS does that. So grab their IDX feed, that's Spanish only, feed that in. Now, it's not going to have the 4,200 active listings in the MLS of our over 1,400 agents in FlexMLS, BCS MLS, but at least it has the company's listings. And if I can get more brokerages to become members and feed their listings into Omni MLS, it's even better, right? More exposure for you because we're going to put real money and time behind this Spanish-speaking website.
How hard is it to get licensing for your IDX feed?
It's very easy. Your IDX vendor contacts Omni MLS. We authorize it. It's very simple.
Do you charging a high fee for it, or?
There's no cost on our side for the IDX feed. Now, the IDX vendor itself, like a WordPress plugin or something, those companies are going to have their own internal costs. But Omni MLS, we don't charge anything.
Would you remember what we pay? Maybe $500-$600 a year?
No, the IDX feed from Omni, you just go through the same website, you download it, and it's plug and play. You put it on our website.
Oh,
we actually did a translation of the Ronival.com website, and we put the Omni's feed. Yeah.
Cool. Wow. This was all this week?
No, this was, remember, about a year and a half ago when we had the audits of Profeco. So we did a very simple landing page, and we created from Omni the IDX. There's a way to do it there, and we just put it on the feed for the landing page.
Okay.
And we will need to do the same for the.
Here's a question I have. So I love the international exposure, connecting, networking, referrals that Omni provides. But I know that real estate's hyper-local. And that's for buyers and sellers, for when we're working with them as real estate agents, but then also from an administration of an MLS. How is Omni MLS going to, or is, addressing the administration side? Because I know here with the BCS MLS, they have an MLS board, they have the surveillance committee. What do they?
Surveillance compliance officer.
Compliance officer that is always on us. And I mean, how do we, which is good and bad, right? We need that so it keeps people honest. What's Omni doing?
We have a support center that works across 3 different time zones, expanding to 5 because of Brazil. And on every property in the MLS, there's a yellow button. So anybody that sees any kind of problem, whether it's a watermark on a photo or something's wrong, the number of bedrooms is 0, it's a mistake from the listing agent, you click the button, you can report that, it comes into our support center. That team then follows up, contacts the listing agent, and talks to them about fixing the problem. Most of the issues we have, people are not intentionally trying to do something wrong. It's just a clerical error, human error, or a training issue. And so our team helps them, teaches them how to fix the issue, and they get it fixed. If it's a repeat offender, and we have a couple of people like this going on in Costa Rica, what the new process will be is we will disable that property, that listing, we'll withdraw it from the MLS until such time as the listing agent fixes it. In Costa Rica, that group is moving forward with fines like you have here, but it's on basically a country by country basis, and we work with you all, our members, to continue to enhance or evolve our rules and regulations.
Would you be open, Omni MLS, of having a local MLS board so that we could police, because I just know that agents are going to put listings that aren't theirs, and it ends up becoming like an easy broker type system where you have multiple brokerages, non-licensed agents that are putting listings on, they're paying the monthly membership fee, and they're putting the same listing that's not theirs.
Right.
And so you have the wrong price, incorrect information, it sells, or there's a price reduction, and so you have 2 different, it's a mess.
Yeah, no, definitely we're in favor of. If you guys have a board, you have a group of people, members that want to participate, we'll work with them all day long.
Okay.
If I put a listing onto our FlexMLS through Ronival, does that automatically go onto Omni, or do I have to do it again on Omni?
You have to do it again, but we do have the ability in Flex. You have an option when you look at your listing on the right-hand side, there's a ... Click on that, and it says export. You can then export all your listings to a file and then import them into Omni MLS.
However, all Ronival listings are on the platform.
So once we
Once you put it on the FlexMLS, we do that, we import them, and they're uploaded.
We have someone that's all they do. Well, not all, but that's part of their job description, right? But what I think is with this, once this app gets installed on Omni MLS, I think it should go the other way because you get all that information, all that AI, and then just have it sync with Flex, right?
Yeah.
All the captions and all that nonsense, the description.
It's easier for you to do your FlexMLS and it's done.
Yeah.
Cindy.
When Ronival uploads the listing, is the listing agent reflected on Omni as well, or only if the listing agent?
So this is where you want to get your own membership.
Okay.
So that's why I wanted all of you to connect or be here physically. And we are recording this, so we'll share it with everyone that isn't connected or here physically because you don't get the credit for that.
Okay. Thank you.
Right? So it's well worth the $20 a month to get all those features, plus that your contact information, those leads, those direct inquiries come to you.
Thank you.
Great question.
Is it 20 a month or can you do the whole year lump sum to get a discount?
Yeah, go onto the website, omnimls.com. There's an option that says more information, and it'll tell you all the pricing and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Any other questions? Cyril.
If you already on that, already to put from Flex to MLS only, we don't have to do it. But if you would like to get this, like Matterport, virtual tour, how we can make it possible? Because it will be already from our photos that Ronival did, but how we could be able to get this Matterport.
I think you would need to get your own individual Omni MLS membership. And then it should be hopefully in this month that feature with your phone is live. And then you being an individual paying agent member, $20 a month, $240 a year, you'll be able to do that. Unfortunately, because we have a company account, we can't give the user ID password to everyone to have that
So
mobile
why
app.
don't you get access to our own listing on Omni and modify it?
So I think what whoever wants or has the Omni MLS account, if you are gonna upload your own listings, you let us know, so we don't upload your listings,
Right.
agent listings,
Duplicate.
to so it's not duplicate.
And if you
And
did,
you're able to use the platform's benefits of the matter, of the whole house and everything else that you.
and if you did it, we could go then after to add more information on it, or
You would, are you on Omni MLS?
not yet, but I will be tomorrow.
Ross is like, yes.
So when you do that, and if you're gonna upload your own listings, you let us know, so we know your agent listings don't go, we don't upload them. You do them and you do all the.
But the one you already did, can we go in on it?
We would need to, no, you.
No.
We can change the listings that you have
Listing
under the
agent?
company. We can, you can contact our support group, Sergio, and move them over to the individual that now has their individual account.
In the MLS here, the FlexMLS, we have the broker account and
Yes.
all the agents fall under. Same thing?
Same thing.
Okay, so we could
Correct.
be able to make edits as long as Surreal becomes a paying member
Correct.
tomorrow. We can assign the listing to him.
Or later
right?
today. Thank you,
If it's Monday, no.
That's
The
right.
deal's off.
Only today. For those
I need the
who
paid
signed up
receipt. He
today.
needs the paid receipt. So we'll be able in our broker account be able to move things.
You got it.
Okay, so there you go.
I think too, part of what he was asking, if we already have through Ronival, the Matterport, will that also get uploaded when you're uploading the listing?
It's not being uploaded currently. The export of the listings does not upload the matter.
We were need to explore that.
Manual, yeah.
And I can say from my perspective, do you do Matterports on all your listings?
Not all anymore.
Because it's super expensive, right?
Spend the money on it.
Right, because we spend like thousands a month, right? We spend like between $500 and $900 a month just to store the Matterports. And then to go physically and spend 4 to 6 hours per property, it's a nightmare. So now all of us have it with our cell phone, with the dollhouse view, with the floor plan for $20 a month. Are you kidding me? This is insane.
Did I say $20 a month?
No, he's like, it just went up 40.
The efficiency and cost savings are worth it in themselves. I remember back when I first jumped on the MLS, there was also an agreement with DocuSign where your DocuSign membership was significantly less than if you were doing separately with the paid membership of Omni.
So one of the things,
That's still the case, or?
so they partnered with
Lone Wolf.
Lone Wolf, which is, we use SkySlope, and it's a transaction management software that has built-in digital signatures. So in it, on the cloud houses your listing documents, your contracts, so your agents can access it. So it's an add-on fee.
Add-on fee, $10 a month, unlimited transactions, signatures, documents, whatever.
It's incredible. So make sure Patty, with this Lone Wolf, we might transfer over from SkySlope to Lone Wolf because we spend a lot of money on SkySlope.
It's an amazing
That
tool,
was my
really.
next question. Oh, sorry.
We talk about,
That was my next question, Ross.
yeah,
Do you see us being able to drop our Ronival templates into the Lone Wolf program?
Lone Wolf is coming out with a new version, and supposedly in that new version, you can easily add in like your own document set of contracts and stuff. So it's not live yet, but I'll give Nick more information as we get information from Lone Wolf. But I believe that's the next version.
Not on the transaction side, but on the actual form side, right?
Yeah, on the form side.
Perfect, okay.
Yeah, Lone Wolf is an amazing tool. It's really a transaction management platform that allows you to set up standard packages for the brokerage. And then when you're starting a new listing, you'd already have all the document set that you need to start that listing. And everything's stored digitally in the cloud. It's in a vault, so it's stored there to get copies of documents and stuff. It takes literally a second. Just put in the name of the property you're looking for. You have the whole documents, send it to the notary, send it to the parties involved. It's an amazing technology. And it includes the digital signatures like DocuSign. So can't beat it.
Yeah, that's nice.
I think if you pay for the whole year, you save a month or two.
If you sign up today.
Another thing that their products guy, Luis, I met him also in Dallas, and he was telling me that you're also working a deal with a CRM provider. So, you know, the power of having many agents, many members, many people on the team, or an Omni, many members, that you have the power of a discount, like bulk discount. So that's awesome.
Zero. Yeah. In the Omni, is there a way for you to turn off, like, I don't want to see Costa Rica, Colombia, I just want to see Baja California?
Sure. As far as in the MLS itself? Yes. Yeah, of course. You customize it. So an MLS is always customizable for the agent. The way that you like to look at the data, the information, the properties, and also where you want to look. So you can say, every time I go and do a property search, I only want to see Mexico, Baja California Sur, and this neighborhood here in Pedregal or something like that. You can set it up however you want. You can have the map only start in that area for sure.
I think your question goes more to the IDX for the website, like we were feeding other second home markets in the website. It is customizable. You can turn off some locations. So,
yeah, definitely.
More questions? All right. Thanks, Ross.
Great.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Nick.
And
Really appreciate it.
I know
Thanks,
some of you I need to talk to. You said you want to talk, but you want to talk to him too, right? Okay. All right. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for coming. Oh, we're located obviously in Oceana, 100 condominium complex. Surreal is the listing agent, and Tamara. So if you have any questions or have any clients that want more information, contact me.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Nick Fong Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and the YouTube channel at youtube.com/Ronival Real Estate and follow Nick on Instagram at NickFong_Ronival. Ready to find your Baja dream home? Check out the latest property listings at Ronival.com or findmexicohouses.com. Hasta luego.